Hey there guys, what's going on? It's Gale right here, back on the 5-9 channel, and we are here for another AOT bashing session. That's right, AOT bashing session here again on 5-9. Well, hopefully not. We're going to go over some leaks that have been coming out. Of course, when we did our last review, we mentioned, there was a very high chance that there would be extra pages coming out with the final volume release, right? And of course, the final volume is supposed to release, I think, sometime in June or July. I'm not entirely too confident on that. I think it's June more so. But obviously leaks have been coming out from some Chinese sources which have been credited by people who have been following AOT for a very long time. These are sources that are supposedly credible again, but we will address this fact that this is all speculation still. Whatever the leak may be, we can't 100% guarantee it's true, right? So with me today we have Choco. Say hello.
Hello.
Alright, hopefully this time around Choco yells less and we can have a bit more of a discussion.
I'm just too sad to yell at this point, dude.
Okay, there we go. So it'll be a bit more of a normal discussion piece now instead. Because last time I swear I barely got in like 5 lines while Choco was just going off on that 18-20 minute first impressions video we did. But of course, there's been some leaks coming out. I only saw one bit of it. Choco let me know of another leak that was credited by and one of our very one person who we did do the review with last time, the 2.5 hour podcast. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out, with Alex or the Gaming Claw. He said that these sources are actually very credible and
supposedly credible, because I guess pretty much where these leaks are coming from are supposedly credible people. So nothing in the leaks are confirmed. It's just, it's a decent chance they are. Because I can't confirm it. I haven't really ever paid attention to these leaks. I've only really looked at leak chapters, but apparently where these are coming from, they've been credible in the past with AOT.
Yeah. So of course I having followed the Gaming Club for a long time, and seeing whatever's been happening with the Isayama and the editor, I personally still had some hope that there would be more of an expansion on what's been happening, more clarity on what exactly happened in the run up to the end scene in the last chapter, of course. But it seems like it's more of an epilogue to an epilogue instead. So Choco, let's go through your first leak first, because I feel that's a bit more important than the one I found out about. So Choco, go over what you saw.
So the first leaks I saw were that Paradis does end up being you're getting destroyed by the outside world. At the end of the chapter, we did see the world was kind of preparing for war. We had the Jaegers or whatever they're still calling themselves on Paradis and stuff. And I believe the outside world had some military panels. I'm not 100% sure. It's been again a month and a half since I've looked at the chapter, and it's either the stigma of Titans is still around, which would make sense, or Titans themselves are around, which is one of the heavy leaks going around.
Which is really odd, because that was the whole notion when Armin, and of course this is spoilers by the way, guys. I don't have to say it considering we're talking about the leaks and stuff, right? But the big thing was that I forgot his name. Armin effectively said Titans no longer are a thing, and that was the whole point of them, once they killed off Eren, no more Titans and stuff like that. So the Titans coming back would be odd. Unless, do you have a reason for why they might come back?
Absolutely not, dude. There is
fantastic.
No, I'm really hoping that it's the stigma of Titans to have some salvageable something in the chapter, because that would make more sense, because of the fact that even when they were on the boat to go to go to the mainlands and stuff, the idea was that they still don't fully trust us, we're still negotiating, trying to make sure that these guys don't end up killing us all, because we want to have a peaceful world, right? And so the whole stigma of the Titans, or the Titans coming back and everything, would just be so weird, considering that's not the case. But the stigma of the Titans coming back, or the stigma of Titans and not trusting them, makes sense. I think it makes a lot more sense than the Titans coming back, because there's no reason for the Titans to come back at all, right, Choco? So yeah, I think it probably leans more into the former than the latter, in that
the stigma of Titans is probably the reason why. Another leak that I personally saw, and this is where things get a lot more interesting, is that it seems like there's gonna be an epilogue to the epilogue where obviously, Eren, or well, sorry, not Eren, the bird, puts the scarf over Mikasa's shoulder again and, flies off. After that, it seems like Mikasa is bringing her kids along, as well as her husband, to Eren's grave. Now, Choco, what do you feel about this one? Now, because of course there was this whole debate in the community about, Mikasa should have moved on. This is just to satisfy Eren Mika shippers and stuff like that by not letting her move on and letting her, sulk over Eren's grave again and again. So, what do you think about this, Choco? Do you have any feelings about it? Do you think it's good for people who actually like Mikasa's character that she moved on, maybe?
No, it's very bad. Everything about this is just garbage. It's either the 8 pages has multiple time skips or something. Or like, it's either Paradis doesn't get destroyed or Mikasa doesn't get married and have kids, because if Paradis is destroyed, they shouldn't be able to go visit the grave unless Izuyama decides in the 8 pages to add multiple time skips, which I guess he could, and it would be bad, because everything about this is bad. I'm seeing a lot of people, even who were defending the ending before, that are now completely bashing it, because at this point it's just like, how do you defend this? It's just so not good all around. If any of these leaks are true, there's no good comes from any of this. It like, he butchered Eren and Armin's character, because she wasn't really a character, so she was fun last time. She could just do whatever. Jesus. But then he just killed what little bit there was, if this is true.
I agree.
It like, if he didn't kill Eren's character, I could see her moving on, because Eren's whole thing was trying to get her to move on to great. She did, but then you ended up killing Eren's character, and he didn't want her to move on. So what do you want? Do you want them to only want each other? Do you want her to move on? Isayama, you're sending me a lot of mixed messages here. It also seemed like she didn't really want to move on, but then it just happened anyways.
Well, as you said, if there is time skips, it makes sense she might have moved on at some point. People.
How many time skips are we getting, dude?
But I know that's what I'm like. That's the whole point, because in between the death of Eren to the whole boat scene where Historia was on the boat, they were heading to the mainland and stuff. That was a solid year or two, right? In between those points, or a couple of months at least, minimum, right? So.
Yeah, there was a time skip there.
There was a time skip there at least. I don't remember how long. Again, like you said, it's been a month and a half, and I'm not gonna lie, I've kindly blocked all memory of AOT in my head right now. So apologies if we're making a mistake in terms of like the situation at the end of and the last chapter specifically. But it's very, very odd. And another leak that came along with that specific point was that the back of that husband's head was Jean. So not only have you killed Eren's character when he was alive, and literally killed him, you also killed his whole memory and everything he had. Like, he didn't succeed in the rumbling, which was okay, fine. That was maybe not his intention, apart from destroying 80% of humanity. All right. Then you basically said, oh, at least he has Mikasa, fawning over him even after he's dead, which doesn't happen. He lost to his rival. He lost Mikasa to his rival, I should say. Like, bro, Eren's legacy does not exist anymore, bro. He does not have a single bit of his legacy. What do you think, Chiroko, as well?
Yeah, everything that was built up for the past, 12 years of the manga was basically completely crushed in the final part of this arc. Yeah. And whatever, Jean can marry Mikasa. That's not like
I have an
issue with Jean's character.
I think Jean as a character at least got the biggest dub, considering he had a crush on Mikasa since the very beginning, right? So at least he managed to get a dub compared to everybody else. But like, it's just such an odd, like, weird thing to do. Like, instead of actually, helping people understand why you chose to do what you do, you're instead not only adding more confusion to the audience, but you're also adding more twists that aren't necessary, in my opinion.
Yeah, so,
right?
like,
Choco, is it just me? Right.
One of my problems with that is...
Yeah, go ahead.
Mikasa never ever went or even like looked at Jean in any way. And because Isam also decided to throw in that whole random, oh, they lived together for like a while in that time skip that we only knew about in that last chapter or whatever.
Yeah,
and she was like, I'm never going to move on from you. Yeah, she's like, I'm never going to move on from you. So, if they have kids, did they have kids immediately? Or did they get married and then have kids? How many years have passed, Isayama? What's happening here? What are you doing?
Yeah, I just feel it's just, instead of getting a bit more of a understanding of, like, again, like I said, there's no, like, for example, I'll talk about Demon Slayer's extra chapter pages instead, right? I think Demon Slayer added an extra 20-ish pages or something, 15 to 20-ish pages, right? And it was an expansion on the in-between scenes from what happened in the final arc and the epilogue. So I'm not gonna specify what exactly happened or what exactly happens in the epilogue and stuff, but it helped understand the situations of the characters at the end, what they were going through, what was the next step to do, and so on and so forth. What we're seeing here is, instead, we're just seeing more and more questions at the end, and you're adding on an extra part of the epilogue, or you're adding an epilogue to an epilogue instead, and not helping us understand whatever's happened up until the final point you released on, right? In my opinion, that's not necessarily the best way to have gone about it, personally. I just feel it's a lot more convoluted. It just adds more confusion to the audience. Again, I don't know what happened to Isayama in the last couple of chapters. I mean, it's not even the last couple of chapters, because chapter 131 was really solid. 135, 136 arguably were strong as well. And then it just faltered in everywhere else. Like, I don't know if it's just burnout or he was just not interested anymore, because he might have been told, oh, this is not the right ending, and then he may have been dissatisfied with where he was going with the story. Anything from you, Troko, that you might have an insight on why maybe that might have happened? Of course, we don't know what's in Isayama's feelings, but just assumptions. What may have happened? What do you think, Troko?
He decided to go with the ending that made everyone sad, but he did it in the different kind of sad.
Yeah, fair enough. You're not wrong necessarily on that. But again, like we said, I was really hoping that there would be more of an explanation, because I personally thought, it was still an okay ending. I wasn't too fussed with it, in the sense of, like, I was hoping the pages would explain more, right? If the pages explained more, I would have been like, sure, I can accept this as maybe a 7 out of 10, 6.5, 7 out of 10 ending. Moved on with my life. Easy going, right? AOT is still chapter 1 to like 121 or whatever it was. Very good. And then the ending arc may have faltered a bit, but still a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10 series, right? This ending just feels a bit more like you've not helped anything. You've just not necessarily made it worse. You've just done nothing to it. It just doesn't add anything. It just feels like you've you've added stuff, but it doesn't help with anything, right, Troko? What do you think?
It doesn't make, like, it just 8 pages, and if even one of these leaks is correct, you can't explain all of this within 8 pages. Maybe like the Mikasa and Jean one, but then it still has a lot more of why did she move on. I mean, good for her, I guess, but okay.
I feel that you can kind of explain with just like general interactions that don't have anything to say, no speed bubbles, just general interactions, and show it over like a couple of pages, and then wrap it up by them going to the grave or something in the last 3-4 pages, and then Mikasa starts talking about Eren's history and story, maybe to her kids, and tells them her story with Eren. But even so, it's just like, I don't know.
Like, I could see Mikasa getting married to Jean if she wasn't Mikasa. I mean, her entire character is not that.
Yeah.
Isayama was like, all right, you guys enjoyed the character assassinations? Here, have one more before I dip forever to go open my sauna or whatever he wants to go do.
Yeah, not necessarily too off on that, but yeah.
Kick us while we're down, dude.
But yeah, I think that's where we can wrap up. Let us know in the comment section below, what do you guys think of these leaks? Do you think it's real? Again, like we said, these are just us making speculations on our thoughts on it, how it could go about it. As we said, the Paradise thing, we have no idea how that's going to be handled, especially if Titans are actually were actually still alive or something, or still going about their lives. Again, like we said, we think it's the stigma more so. The Mikasa and Jean part, you know, it is whatever at this point. At this point, I've come to the point where I've just accepted that there was no way to have improved it in 8 pages. Like, there was a slight glimmer of hope from me, especially seeing how Demon Slayer did, but AOT has just tarnished it all in hell, unfortunately. Choroko, any final thoughts from you before we wrap up?
I hope none of these leaks are real, but at the same time, I don't even know what I would want the 8 pages to be. I just don't trust Isayama to do anything with the 8 pages that would add to the story in any meaningful or impactful way. Yeah. Well, I mean, it would impact the story, but it would make it so much worse. Like, 8 pages, if it pulls a Demon Slayer and it's like before the time skip, what changes? Nothing changes. The character assassination's already done. And if it's like a prologue after, even if it's nothing like the leaks at all, what does it accomplish? It does nothing. Character assassinations have been done. Doesn't really matter what Isayama writes. I get it. It's his story, his world, but there's always a sense of like realism. Isayama could say that Paradise will never be destroyed because the world wants to be friends with them now. It's never going to. I don't care what Isayama says. He wants to have a sense of realism throughout his entire story, and no matter what he writes now, it's just not going to be good. Yeah. I feel he has to redo pretty much just the entire second half of the arc.
I mean, I guess that's where the whole. Pages. I mean, the thing is, if the whole Titans thing is real, I guess that's where the whole mist thing comes across. Maybe the mist ending that he wanted to try and follow, but at this point, I don't know, man. But yeah, let us know in the comments section down below. What do you guys think of these leaks as well? Again, these are just speculation. We will be doing a review for the actual pages once it comes out next month, and hopefully that'll be the end of that. Obviously, once the anime comes back, we'll probably do a review for that and see how they've adapted at least that the best way they could have, probably. I feel bad for Mappa, man. They got they overworked their employees and everything to get a shit ending. It's just feels bad, man. It really is. But yeah, once again, leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more anime/manga content on the 5-9 channel. From Choroko and I, we will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.
The balance.